Flosstube, Vanessa, the singing stitcher here. It has been quite a while since I made a video. I believe the last time I made a video was early May. Yeah, early May, end of April, and it was supposed to be about my mania plans, which I then posted and realized that it was posted as private, so nobody saw it. So I went in and fixed that and posted it, and that was like mid-July that I made it public. So yeah, I have notes. Let's see, I will start with a life update because it's been quite a while. I got laid off of my job in July, which sucked but was not really unexpected. With the severance package I got, I paid off one of my debts, and I've been paying my monthly bills with what was left of that severance amount. That money will run out in March of this year. I have been working a contract position for my husband's employer since mid-August, which has helped me feel a little bit better and like I'm a productive member of society. I'm making way less money than I used to, but that's okay. I have no travel expenses, meaning no gas to get to and from the city, no wear and tear on the vehicle from all the driving to and from the city, and no bus pass to buy to take public transit once I get into the city. So I am saving money, sort of, maybe. Let's see. We adopted another beagle. His name is Henry, and if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen some of his antics. He is 6 years old. Let's see, he's really helped us get through the last, well, let's see, we've had him since mid-May, so he really helped us get through 2020, and he's helping us get through the rest of our lives. Actually, it's really nice to have a living, breathing, snuggly, fun thing in the house. For those of you who have pets, you might understand. Let's see, he loves destroying things. Basically, he's taught us to pick up after ourselves, because if we don't, he finds treasures all over the house. Empty cardboard boxes, pieces of paper, receipts, anything he can find on the floor, basically. Let's see, he loves destroying squeaky toys, so he'll like literally chew holes in the squeaky toy just to pull the fluff out and get the squeaker, and then he plays with the squeaker and chews on it, and then it doesn't squeak anymore. And then sometimes he goes back to that toy and like eviscerates it, so defluffs everything, and then you're left with bits of whatever it was. Let's see. Oh yeah, one of the things he destroyed was one of my works in progress, so I had to restart that, and I had posted a picture of that, I believe, on Instagram and definitely on Stitch Mania. So he has taught me to put my projects away in a plastic container. Yes, my stitchy spot is my couch. I have a coffee table, that's where everything sits. I've never had a problem with it before, but now when I'm finished with my stitching, it goes in the plastic container. The lid goes on. The dog doesn't touch. In my last video, I mentioned that my fingernails were awful because I used to get acrylic nails and they were growing out because I couldn't get them done. At that point, my husband had suggested, why don't you just stop getting them done to save some money? I obviously have stopped. I just trimmed my nails this morning. They're quite thin, and when they break, they rip like right down at the quick. So I try to keep them short. Let's see. My dad comes for dinner every Sunday, which is nice for all of us. Over the summer, we had a few people come to the house to hang out and play music. We were either in the garage or in the backyard. And we made sure that we had Hand sanitizer and wipes on hand for everyone. We really miss playing music with the band and just getting together with other musicians. So it was nice to be able to do that. Let's see what else. We have not had the celebration of life for my mother as of yet, just due to COVID, basically. When we do, we plan to have two. So one here in Alberta for the friends here, and one in Toronto, Ontario for the family and friends there. Let's see. We, and by we I mean my husband, have done a few projects around the house. He did a small reno to his home office, so he took things off the walls, painted it a different color, put up new shelving. He's got a new desk. He's basically got a lot of, well, he collects Star Wars and Star Trek Hallmark Christmas ornaments. So they're all sort of displayed in his office, and then he's got other things like Transformers and Robotech things and things I don't really understand. So, whatever. Let's see. He also tore apart our storage room because it had built-in shelving that was not adjustable. So that was fun. He then filled the holes because there was lots. Painted and put in new adjustable shelving, which was, it's good because now you can put a larger, like a deeper bin in on one of those shelves. Let's see. He also emptied the library / my cross-stitch storage room, which is the room I'm in right now. It used to be, this wall behind me was bookcases all the way to the corner, and then bookcases across. And then there was some shorter bookcases here that had our book collection and a dresser, which is now right here, which you can't see, as are a couple of the bookcases. He decided he wanted to get rid of his book collection, which was a quite extensive Star Wars and Star Trek paperback book collection. And so they're gone. What you can see right there is the treadmill running surface, which is just up. And I use the word running surface loosely because it's a walking surface, because we don't run. Let's see, you can't see it, but I have bookshelves with our DVD collection, so movies and TV, and then I have the rest of the bookcases are, let's see, probably one whole bookcase is my paperback books that I've read and will reread, and then the bottom shelf is like magazine holders full of cross-stitch magazines. And then there's binders full of PDF patterns that I had printed, and then there's cross-stitch books. So it's coming along, the organization. The closet over here, again, which I know you can't see, he tore all of the shelving and closet stuff out and filled the holes and painted. I should say, he filled the holes and painted in here too. And so now I have 2 tall bookcases, and then in the middle I have the dresser, and then on top of that I have a shorter bookcase that's just more shelving. And so the dresser holds my extra or overstock of floss, and then 14, 16, 18, and 22 count Ada. Yes. I have one drawer completely dedicated to 14 count because it seems to be my go-to. And then I have the next highest amount, I believe, would be probably the 16, because I got a lot of hand-dyes in 16 counts. And then, like I said, 18 and 22 count. So yeah, once we get a light fixture in the closet, which is actually sitting on the table behind you, well, behind my iPad, I will do a little tour of my stitchy storage room. I'm in the basement, and I live in Alberta, Canada, and it is January, so it's cold. So I don't really hang out here that much. But anyway, let's see. So my husband is now slowly working his way through the rest of the basement, taking pictures and other things off the walls, filling holes and repainting. Basically, we're not changing the color. It's your basic builder's beige. We're just refreshing it. So, I mean, a fresh coat of paint does wonders, right? Let's see. He is also being very creative by recording music and making music, or yeah, basically making music videos. He purchased a large green piece of fabric, so we now have a green screen. And he has, trying to think of a nicer way to put it, but he has half-assed learned how to play the tin whistle, the harmonica, and the keyboard. Basically, he learns the notes or the parts that he needs for specific songs that he's recording, and he's really enjoying himself. So, you know, as not fun as it is to listen to him learning the tin whistle or harmonica, I just let him go. He's having fun. Let's see. So far for songs that he's recorded, he's recorded and posted a video of Steve Earle's Galway Girl, and he plays everything. Drums, mandolin, guitar, bass, rhythm guitar, tin whistle. And so what he's done is he's got him in different outfits in just different little screens, and he's taking a tour around Galway, Ireland. He's currently working on The Future So Bright by Timbuk3 and Hip to Be Square by Huey Lewis. I need to jump in and do some recording at some point. Probably some jazzy show tune kind of stuff. We'll see. Let's see. Christmas was quiet. My dad came over Christmas Day and he stayed overnight. He went home on Boxing Day. My husband cooked breakfast for us that morning. We drank mimosas and other adult beverages. Watched movies throughout the day. I cooked dinner. We watched more TV, and then we just crashed. We went to bed. New Year's Eve was even more quiet because it was just my husband and I. I stitched and watched TV, and he worked on his latest music projects. So that is that. Excuse me. All right. 13 minutes in. Life update complete. Now for the stitching, which is why I'm sure you're all here. I completed 12 projects in 2020. Not the greatest amount, but I'm happy with it. Some of you have seen a couple of these already. Well, if you watched my earlier video, you will have seen a couple of these. I will go through them now. The oldest project that was completed was Frosty Morning by Dimensions, which was started on January 1st, 2017, and completed on April 20th, 2020. And it is stitched with the threads that were provided and on the 16 count light blue rated Ada that was in the kit. So here we go. Frosty Morning by Dimensions. I'm quite happy with it. Next up, so the second oldest WIP that project that was completed was Mystical Light by Dimensions. This was started on May 6th, 2017 for Mania and was completed February 23rd, 2020. It is stitched with the threads that were provided and on the navy blue Ada that was provided in the kit. And there we are. I did a bit of modification to it. Everything here that is in white, they wanted you to have, or to stitch with chronic blending filament, and I just didn't think it was necessary, so I didn't use it. I think I put a little bit, yeah, I put some in the crystal ball he's holding, but like you can't even tell. And you can't even tell that it's not in the clouds here either. I just thought that was overkill, so I didn't do it. All right, the third oldest one that was completed, and actually the rest of them were all new starts in 2020, so was Boba Fett. And this is a pattern I purchased from Stitch Bucket on Etsy. And this was started on April 23rd, 2019. And the reason I didn't do much of it is because I needed the green and I didn't have enough. And anytime I went to Michael's, if I went to Michael's, I didn't know what colored green it was that I needed, so I didn't buy it. So I think what happened is I stitched everything except the green, and I had placed an order with traditional stitches to get it in. So here is Boba Fett, which is stitched on 14 count black Aida using DMC threads. Excuse me. Need a drink. All right. Finish number 4 is Bay Horse, and this is a pattern from an old Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. This was started on April 21st and completed on April 29th, 2020. So my stitchy bug came back with a vengeance early spring this year. This is stitched on 14 count peach Aida using DMC threads. The 5th finish, or start and finish, is Easter Fairy by Mirabilia. And this was started on April 29th and completed on May 10th. It is stitched on 16 count slate Aida, or twilight blue. To me it looks like slate, but whatever. Let's see, yeah, 16 count slate using the classic Colorworks and Krennic threads provided. Oh, and the Mill Hill beads, of course. So here we have it, Easter Fairy by Mirabilia. The next one is Butterfly Triplex or Triplex by Dimensions. This was started on May 1st for Mania and completed July 5th. It is stitched with the threads provided and on the 18 count that was in the kit. So there we are, Butterfly Triplex. I believe the border was supposed to have lazy daisies all over it, and I was just not interested in that, so I didn't do them. Next up, we have Peonies in Vase. This is the one that Henry decided to take off the coffee table and eat. He literally chewed a hole right in the middle of it. There was no fixing it. I didn't bring it down with me. I still actually have it. It's just upstairs. So it came with a lighter beige sort of, yeah, like it was a lighter beige Aida in 18 count. And I was about half finished it when he ate it. So I restarted it on a piece of 18 count beige Aida that is slightly darker than what came in the kit, and I used a combination of what was left of the kit threads and DMC equivalents. So here we have Peonies in Vase. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Very happy. Next up is Butterfly Vignette by Dimensions. Let's see, sorry. This was started on May 3rd for Mania, just like Peonies in Vase. And in fact, Peonies in Vase was started on May 3rd. And I restarted it on August 19th and completed it September 30th. And of course, this is a Dimensions kit. Okay, Next up was Butterfly Vignette by Dimensions again. I just felt like stitching some of their smaller kits that I have in my stash. Let's see. So this one here was started on May 3rd and completed August 8th. It is stitched with the threads that were provided and on the 18 count ivory Aida. So here is Butterfly Vignette. I'm really happy with this one as well. Unfortunately, it's an awkward size. I think it's 4x8. So I'm not sure how I will frame this. I think it's going to end up going to a framer, because that's not really a standard size of frame. All right. Next up is New Year's Eve Fairy by Mirabilia. This was started on May 11th and completed on June 1st. It is stitched on 16 count slate Aida using the classic colorworks and chronics provided, and this was my last start for Mania, so I believe that was 4. So here we have New Year's Eve Fairy. After that, I felt like stitching something fun. Or actually, I was stitching something else that was fun. I needed a quick break, I think. So I found a pattern, probably on Etsy, for a word that some people don't like. Moist. We have a friend who really doesn't like the word, and so I decided I had to stitch it for her and give it to her as a gift, and I haven't framed it to give it to her yet, so I really need to do that. So it is a pattern from Jagger and Yarn, or Jaeger and Yarn, on Etsy, and this was started on August 20th and completed on August 21st. It is stitched on 18 count off-white Aida using variegated DMC threads, and I can't remember what number it is right off the top of my head. So there we have it. Moist. Number 11, I saw a number of people had stitched this, or there were stickers or whatever on Instagram. I sort of jumped on the bandwagon. It is a pattern from It is a pattern from So Easy Pattern on Etsy. This was started on August 21st and completed on August 24th, and it is stitched on 18 count black Aida using DMC threads. So I stitched the dumpster fire. I bandwagoned. Whatever. I thought it was fun. I'm probably just going to frame it in a hoop. Let's see. Oh yeah, the last finish, number 12, is Wolf Trio by Dimensions. My kit was a Creative Accents kit, which is a Dimensions brand. It's what's sold in Walmart here in Canada. I've had a couple of their kits and I quite like them. The only issue is, as I mentioned in my previous video, they fold the pattern super small. Like, it's ridiculously small. Excuse me. I believe the Dimensions kit name for this is In Harmony. The pattern has a whole lot of French knots in it, either for stars or snowflakes. Excuse me. And I didn't do them. I could have replaced them with beads, but I just didn't really think they were necessary. So here we have Wolf Trio, or like I said, In Harmony, from Dimensions. I quite like this one as well. Since I got laid off, framing is not a priority. Paying the bills is a priority, and I don't know when any of these will be framed, to be quite honest. But that's just the way it goes. I can organize these when I'm done. Put them all back in their Ziploc baggies. All right, there were 2 starts in 2020 that I carried over into this year. Roses by Dimensions is one of them, and I believe, again, this was a Creative Accents kit, and it's just called Roses, but I believe the Dimensions brand name kit is it's called Rose Cuttings. I started this November 21st using the threads and threads and 14 count navy blue Aida. I can't remember if I said that. So yes, roses stitched on the 14 count off-white Aida provided, using the threads provided. It is still currently a WIP. I kind of got bored. Like it'll look gorgeous when it's really completed and backstitched, but for some reason I got tired of it. I don't know if I got burnt out because I stitched a lot this year or what, but here's some beige thread for the half stitching. So yeah, this is a WIP for 2020. I'm not sure when I will finish that. So the next one that was carried over is Rosette, and it is a pattern from Stone Street Stitchworks on Etsy. And I started it on December 30th and completed it on January 3rd. Basically, I think I was scrolling through Etsy and saw this and was like, must purchase and stitch immediately. And I'm lucky enough to have an aunt in the UK who does hand-dyed fibers for people who do all sorts of embroidery. She has a range of cottons, rayons, silks, a few other things. So it's not just your regular 6-strand embroidery floss. She has all sorts, and it's wonderful. I've done a couple butterflies in her 12-stranded silk, and I did a peacock in her Pearl 8 cotton. But this one, it is stitched on a 22 count beige Aida, and it doesn't matter if I have this, it's the same thing. So using mercerized cotton, which I'd heard of. It was just something my aunt had sent me, so I thought, hey, I'm gonna give it a shot and see if I can use this. So yes, 22 count beige, 1 strand of this mercerized cotton. It's not something you would pull apart anyway. It's thick enough, I would say, to be probably the equivalent of 2 strands of DMC. I stitched this whole thing in 10 stitch or half stitch. I did a couple stitches in a full cross and just found that it was too thick, too bulky. So here we are, Rosette by Stone Street Stitchworks. And the lighting here really doesn't show the variegation that well, but this thread is amazing. I almost want to order or perhaps request that my aunt send me a few more skeins of this so I can use it for something else. So, you've seen my one and only WIP for this year so far. It's a carryover. Let's see. I've decided that since I no longer have disposable income to buy all the things, that I should actually start stitching my patterns that I just have like paper patterns for, and use my floss and use my fabric. And then when I run out of that sort of thing to stitch with, then I can go through my kits. I may change my mind at some point on that. God knows some of these kits are, like, they're large, like Frosty Morning. So they could take a number of years to do. So we'll see. But so far, let's see, I'm obviously doing a stitch from stash. I participated in it for the last few years, but really it feels a little more important now. So yeah, I guess we'll see if I stick to stitching just patterns from, like, paper patterns, PDFs, patterns from books, magazines, whatever. But going along those lines, I have pulled 3 projects. And basically I pulled 3 projects because I have 3 smaller floss boxes, so I have space for 3 projects. So I pulled everything I need to start them, and I will show you what those are now. So the first one I pulled is The Dragon and the Fairy by Joan Elliott. And I left the fabric upstairs, but I had purchased a fabric to go with this pattern. It's not exactly like what's on the picture here, but I think it'll be close enough. So yeah, this could be a start pretty soon. I don't know. Next up is I pulled everything I needed to stitch. Oh, and I should say, the fabric I'm going to be using for this is a 14 count. The other Joan Elliott I've done is on a 14 count, and I kind of like that size, so I figure anything Joan Elliott related I'll just do on 14 count. And that way, like, the Mill Hill beads fit fine, and you don't have to worry about that stuff. So the next one I pulled is a primitive hare, and I've done a couple of those already, and I quite enjoyed their patterns. I've had this one for a while, and I know a lot of people have stitched it, but I pulled Red Riding Hood. And yeah, I know, it's a black and white picture. Get over it. I'm going to be using the threads called for, the GAST threads, I believe, because I had purchased those years ago, basically right after I purchased the pattern. I purchased the threads. I know I'm going to go through, I'm going to say at least 3 skeins of black, but that's okay. That will be stitched on an 18 count off-white Aida, because that's how I've done the other fairy tales. So I've done Rapunzel. Oh my god. Sleeping Beauty. And Snow White. That's it. Sorry. Duh. Yeah. And then I've done a couple other primitive hair patterns, but just to go along the same theme, this will be stitched on 18 count off-white Aida, and on the other ones you can't see in the pattern, but those of you who know the pattern, there are snowflakes on here that are stitched in white or whatever, and I chose to stitch those in a DMC metallic silver. And yes, I know DMC metallics are horrible, but I have it. Just use a short length, use 1 strand. It's not that bad. And it's just small amounts. So I think any of these patterns that I've done so far, if there's a bit of white that I can change to the silver, just to give it a bit of a sparkle, I've done it. So yeah. Next up is a pattern from a magazine, and it's an old magazine. This is Turn of the Century Santa, and the designer of this is Carol Emmer, E-M-M-E-R, and it is found in For the Love of Cross Stitch, September 1989. I have quite a collection of old magazines, and so And I like Santas. Like, one of my goals was to stitch at least one more Santa so I can frame it and have another Santa on my wall, because I only have 2. And I have books. I have Santas remembered, for God's sakes. I need to stitch more Santas. So, I can tell you that years ago, I wanted to stitch this. I was a much younger, much less experienced stitcher. And I decided at the time, after stitching basically the toy soldier in the middle, that, oh my god, there's a lot of color changes in here and a lot of backstitch, and I don't want to do this, that's hard. So I didn't do it. I believe I unpicked what I had stitched, which really wasn't a lot, and used the fabric for something else. So this will be stitched on, yeah, just a 14 count white. And so his finished size at 14 count is 4.5 inches wide by 7 3/8 inches tall. So I can frame him, no problem, on my own. Just an 8 by 10 frame or something. We'll see. So there we have it. I have covered life, finishes, WIPs, possible new starts, or not possible, probable. I just don't know when I'm starting them. So yeah, let me know if you would like to see a video of all of my finishes that are not framed or FFO'd. I'd like to say I have a bit of shame, but I have like a plastic drawer thingy, sort of, that's the container of shame that I can go through. I will give you a tour of, my furnace just kicked in if you can hear that. I will give you a tour of my stitchy room once I get a light in the closet there. I can also do a video of my stash of kits or pattern books or whatever. So I don't know, comment, let me know what you think you might want to see. I'd like to say thank you. If you're an existing subscriber, thank you for sticking around. I know I don't do videos very often. I believe the last time I did one, I said I was going to do them more often, and life happened, and I think, honestly, I've said it before, I feel like I'd rather stitch, which is bad, because, I mean, I enjoy watching Flosstube. I'm working from home on my contract, and I sit at my kitchen table with my computers and my phone, and I literally listen to Flosstube while I work, and it makes me want to stitch. So, thank you. If you are a new subscriber, thanks for finding me. If you're interested, subscribe. Thank you for your likes and comments. I don't get very many comments, but it's because I'm not sure I have a lot of subscribers, but whatever. Let's see. Yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. 2020 we were supposed to go to Scotland for my brother's wedding, and that was postponed to July of 2021. I have no idea if we have no idea if he will be able to get married this year either. So I don't know, we'll see. If he doesn't, I'm going to have to see if I can get a refund from my airline, because yeah, I have 2 years to use a credit, and that 2 years expires in April of 2022, and so if he is able to postpone his wedding again, he would postpone it to July of 2022, and that credit would be no good. So I would prefer to get a refund, because gosh knows I need the money. That would be great if they could just credit my Visa card back for the, oh, I don't know, I think it was $6,800 for the 2 of us to fly. I know that was not first class, that was economy, but the step up from economy. I can't even remember. But basically you get more legroom. And for a flight like that, I'm only 5'6". My husband's maybe 5'11". He says he's 6 something, but no. It's just nice to have extra legroom when you're on an 8-hour flight. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for tuning in. I'm coming up to 41 minutes here, so take care, everyone. Enjoy your stitching. Talk to you later. Bye.